Gender gap grows in Harris-Trump clash, Beshear's abortion stance in spotlight. The gender gap widens in the Harris-Trump contest. Recent national and battleground state polls, following President Joe Biden's exit from the 2024 race, indicate a much tighter contest than what was observed after his poor debate performance. These polls also highlight another significant factor: a substantial gender gap between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris, sometimes even larger than those seen in 2016 and 2020. Consider the recent New York Times, Siena College poll. Harris leads Trump by 14 points among likely female voters, 55% to 41%, while Trump leads by 17 points among men, 56% to 39%. This results in a 31-point gender gap. The gap is even larger in the latest Quinnipiac University poll, where women support Harris by 16 points, 56% to 40%, and men favor Trump by 23 points, 60% to 37%. Note: the Quinnipiac poll was conducted both before and after Biden left the 2024 race. This creates a significant 39-point gender gap. Compare this to the 2016 race between Trump and Hillary Clinton, where the NBC News exit poll showed a net gender gap of 24 points. In the exit poll following the 2020 Biden-Trump contest, the gap was 23 points. However, more recent surveys indicate a smaller gender gap. CNN's national poll reported a 16-point gap between Harris and Trump, while a poll from NPR, PBS, Marist showed just a 4-point difference. And remember, demographic deep dives like these have larger margins of error, so the numbers are likely to vary from poll to poll. However, these new polls generally highlight how an expanding gender gap could be a crucial factor in the Harris-Trump race, as well as how Trump's lead among men appears to be greater than Harris's advantage among women. Sweepstakes: Beshear's abortion record faces renewed scrutiny. One of Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear's strengths in the race to become Harris's running mate is his potential appeal to centrist voters. As a Democrat who secured re-election in a state that Donald Trump won by over 20 percentage points, Beshear could bridge the gap with moderate voters. Beshear's victory in the 2023 campaign was partly due to his strong support for abortion rights in a state where the procedure is nearly completely banned. However, some reproductive rights advocates in Kentucky feel that Beshear has not done enough on this crucial issue for the party nationally, which could influence his chances of being selected for the presidential ticket. "The low expectations here don't benefit him," said Savannah Trebuna, the director of the Abortion Fund at Kentucky Health Justice Network, a reproductive rights organization based in Louisville. She was referring to the expectations for a Democratic governor in a predominantly Republican state. "Yes, he's performing better than a conservative would, and I appreciate that," she continued. "But I'm concerned about how that record will be perceived on a national level." Critics highlight several points about Beshear's approach: his selection of Jacqueline Coleman, a Democrat who describes herself as personally pro-life, as his lieutenant governor, his emphasis on rare exceptions when discussing abortion, and his administration's reluctance to collaborate closely with reproductive rights groups in the state. During his initial gubernatorial campaign in 2019, Beshear's allies reportedly had behind-the-scenes disputes with reproductive rights groups over advertising strategies. Beshear's team preferred to concentrate less on abortion and more on attacking the unpopular Republican incumbent, according to a source involved in the campaign. The question is whether Beshear's strategy could be a liability by confusing the Democrats' message or a benefit by having a governor who has succeeded on the issue in a red state. Former Representative John Yarmouth, DKY, commented, "I think everyone is searching for the perfect candidate, but such a thing doesn't exist. Voters who can be swayed at this stage are not issue-driven. If you're an issue voter, you've already made up your mind. These voters are more visceral, which is why I believe Andy has a significant advantage, because he exudes empathy."